This is just a rant. Later, I could do a intuitive new moon summary report later. Just kind of like, not going too detailed with the diagram. Because in the past new moon ceremonies, I show the diagram and then I digress. But instead of showing the diagram, I'll just kind of fluidly kind of like chime in on like, what the new moon, show could be, right? Of just like what's going on. And but right here I'm just kind of like spilling it out, like, I do these videos to understand like why things are kind of like why they are, and how like, in how people could kind of get away with things, for a time being, right? Until like a different background mechanism of quote unquote death time, end quote, esoterically speaking, death meaning transformation. Because like in a certain spiritual sector, death is just an illusion, right? But here we have today is just kind of touching upon a couple points of just like saying like simultaneously race and racism doesn't exist, but it kind of does, because we refer back to, what we started as off of, and what we started off as of, we could have changed quote unquote multidimensionally, end quote, from what we started off as of. So simultaneously, race doesn't exist, because I believe, when we die, we could experience a different race. I believe, and I've said this like in like written blogs years ago, like, a black person could reincarnate into a white person, and a white person could reincarnate into a black person, etc., respectively. So, and that's just one quote unquote black and white example, end quote, because any race could be any race after, it's kind of like that. I feel like the deep spirituality of reincarnation is kind of like that movie where I forgot the movie. I think it might be it might be I don't want to name the actor, because I don't want to give like unwarranted credit like all the time. But there's this movie where like someone gets their body snatched, right? And as they get their body snatched, they are not who they used to be, Like the bodies got switched, right? So when the bodies got switched, that's just an example, a surface level example of like how spiritual reincarnation really works. Spiritual reincarnation is like, you aren't who you thought you were in a different context. You aren't who you thought you were in a different way. You're a whole different person, and now you kind of lost your previous identity, and now you have a new identity, right? And as you have a new identity, now you could be kind of like doing quote unquote energetic confusion work, end quote, meaning you're trying to work to get back to who you were, you know? And in the workings of doing it, you're confused, more or less, and the confusion comes and goes because clues come and go, and then the clues, dissipate, so the confusion comes and goes, right? But like within that, you could quote unquote never get back to who you were, but you could, so it's all based on like, God's complex work, because God is like all of it, it's not just black and white. It's like it's a whole like it's a whole metaphorical rainbow of workings, so for us to like, pin it on like God, no, we're going away from the original pure mechanics of God, and it's our deep, hard responsibility, And here's another rant that I wanted to kind of like really put out, It's like people like the pure logical articulation of how things work, of how nature's mechanics work. We don't have that articulated for us, And what do I mean by that? What's an example for that? you know, Maybe life and nature on a bigger picture, it makes us taste our own fucking medicine. And what does that fucking mean? It means that life of inevitably and indubitably and eventually, with the aside from our motherfucking arrogance, aside from our fucking stupidity and our own like stupors and confusion and our own like just everything that's just like a toxic energetic quality trait that builds upon our character of our life, our changing character of our life. The arrogance, it's kind of it's a unique, very particular blinder to how we don't see how the fucking bigger picture fucking looks at us, because what's really motherfucking stupid? It's like someone could have the audacity and the nerve to fucking disrespect someone. But if they get disrespected, their motherfucking bitch ass will tell on the other person on how they got fucking disrespected when they're the motherfucking ones doing that shit. So that's a bitch ass hypocrite. Literally. So like, if anybody does that, you're like, there's bitch ass hypocrites out there. And I'm not saying any particular example. I'm just saying that's what it is. So aside from, and what are some qualities of quote unquote bitch ass hypocrites, end quote? Arrogance, contradiction, hypocrisy, and within that, eventually within the hard mechanics of life and the different mechanisms of life and the slow down mechanisms and the fast mechanisms, all these different mechanisms, eventually life will make you taste your own fucking medicine because people are fucking arrogant. They think they could fucking do their fucking shit to other people, and they don't think fucking life is gonna fucking give them the fucking nature clap back. Fucking keep testing life, keep testing nature. I don't give a fuck about any petty fucking shit, dude. Do whatever the fuck you want. And let life fucking show you, you young fucking souls. You immature fucking spirits. So that's just what, it's just kind of weird that like someone could do, it's like people don't understand like the principle of like treat others how you want to be treated, because if you don't do that, then you're developing esoteric hypocrisy. And what does that mean? Esoteric hypocrisy. You want to shit on someone else, but when someone does that to you, you have a esoteric bitch fit. And you having that, it's just a contradiction. It's just stupid as fuck, It's just like, you could disrespect someone else, but when someone disrespects you, you're going to bitch and tell, and you're going to have like this immature fucking like, this immature try to like get like a comeback when really you're the one that like, you're like, you're like the bitchy energy is the one that kind of like started it. So you have to contain and control your own shadow projections. And I'm not discrediting, I'm not denying, and I'm not dismissing like, the raw quote unquote darkness of nature, or that could be confused with quote unquote evil, because it's a context thing, as we fucking already could fucking understand. And for, all these fucking new movies to get influence, and they fucking, just taking notes, and they're in their fucking industry and they just fucking take notes and they're fucking copycats. Good for you. You ain't original in the fucking bigger picture. You really ain't fucking shit without the original God, and you're fucking ungrateful on some real fucking pure esoteric shit, and I don't give a fuck, because this is my fucking happiness, this is my esoteric hygiene, this is my fucking cleanliness, this is my fucking mission, this is my fucking real soul sovereignty that I'm motherfucking talking about, so I don't give a fuck. And most fucking ironically, this is the solution and the assistance to people fucking bitching in the beginning. So it's just the realest shit ever. So that's just the rant I wanted to, that's just the casual rant I wanted to put for today. And, continue with your realness or fakeness, or your just, your development thereof or lack thereof. Continue with your realness, continue with your fakeness, or continue with your innocent growth. So that was just, it's just kind of like, it's just mind boggling, like how someone could be like, and it's just, it's just envy, but like, if there's not a solution for envy, that's your lack of intelligence. Here's the main message I wanted to fucking say today. God's defenses, or what's defending your spirit, the shield of God is pure knowledge and wisdom and information, because the lack of pure knowledge and information, without that pure knowledge and information, you'll get subdued to be susceptible to some confused ass, toxic ass, fake ass, petty ass shit. And that will, in that confused mental energetic dynamic, that will weigh you down, and that will be the lack of God's shields. So the thing that's really shielding the defense of God, the shield of God, is pure knowledge and information, and applying that over life fucking times. So you can fucking reap whatever fucking positivity you have in this fucking now. Thank you very much. Have the best life ever.